The shopkeeper counts the notes twice. The drawer was locked, the windows were closed, and yet money is missing. Near the floor, something small moves between the shelves. It has the outline of a child and eyes that catch the lamplight, but no ordinary child could vanish into a shadow that narrow. In Malay-speaking communities, this figure may be called Toyol. In Indonesian usage, Tuyul is common. Stories describe a familiar spirit sent to steal for a human keeper. No supernatural claim is verified here. Our subject is the folklore itself. Why stolen wealth becomes a child-shaped monster, how the stories travel, and what they reveal about envy, labor, and moral responsibility. Toyol and Tuyul belong to overlapping traditions across Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and neighboring communities. Pronunciation, appearance, and ritual rules change from place to place. One teller describes a bald green figure. Another remembers a dark, quick child. A film gives it claws. A family warning makes it almost invisible. Variation is not a flaw. Oral traditions remain alive because each community adapts them. Modern national borders can make a shared story appear neatly divided, but people, languages, films, and rumors cross those borders continuously. It is safer to speak of a family of related legends than to declare one official original. The creature's outline is shared. Its biography remains local. Most Toyol stories include a keeper. The creature does not usually steal for itself. It serves a person seeking money, influence, or advantage. That structure places responsibility where it belongs. The spirit may be frightening, but the adult who commands it represents deliberate greed. Retellings describe jars, hidden rooms, charms, food, blood, or toys used to maintain the relationship. These details differ and should be treated as folklore, not instructions or evidence. What remains constant is the bargain. Easy wealth demands continuing care, secrecy, and moral compromise. The keeper gains cash while becoming dependent on the very force meant to serve him. The legend turns exploitation into a household relationship that cannot easily be dismissed or ended. A child-shaped monster creates immediate discomfort because it reverses expectations. Children are associated with care, play, and dependence. The Toyol is made to trespass, steal, and obey an adult's greed. Some versions connect the spirit to death or improper ritual, which adds grief and taboo, but such claims vary widely and require restraint. The image can be read without treating any specific practice as fact. A vulnerable figure is transformed into labor. The keeper's wealth rests on a servant who cannot grow up or choose another life. Horror comes from the contradiction. Familiar toys beside an unfamiliar gaze, small hands carrying adult consequences, and innocence turned into an instrument. When money disappears, a supernatural explanation can feel emotionally complete before the facts are known. It gives the loss a culprit and explains how locks were bypassed. But it can also obscure accounting errors, ordinary theft, family conflict, or financial stress. A responsible response begins with evidence, records, access, timing, and the safety of people involved. The legend matters because communities use it, not because accusation proves magic. Folklore may protect relationships by shifting blame away from a relative, or it may damage them by attaching suspicion to a newly prosperous neighbor. The Toyol is therefore both a thief in the story and a tool through which real people negotiate uncertainty. The Toyol legend often appears where wealth seems disconnected from visible work. A neighbor expands a house. A trader succeeds too quickly. Someone who is struggling now spends freely, but will not explain why. The supernatural familiar becomes a moral theory of inequality. Perhaps the money was stolen by invisible means. This does not mean the belief is simply envy. It expresses a deeper social demand that prosperity should have an understandable, legitimate source. Similar stories around the world link secret helpers, cursed treasure, or forbidden bargains with suspicious wealth. In the Toyol, that anxiety becomes intimate. The alleged thief is small enough to cross a threshold, while the person benefiting may be standing in daylight. Folklore offers playful defenses. Some stories say beans, marbles, buttons, toys, or mirrors can distract the Toyol. The childlike spirit stops to count, play, or examine itself until its task is forgotten or dawn arrives. Details vary, and they are not proven protective measures. Yet they reveal how the legend imagines the creature. However frightening its service, it remains vulnerable to curiosity. The household does not defeat it through greater violence, but by interrupting the logic of obedience. A toy competes with a master's command. The image is eerie and oddly sad. A stolen childhood briefly reappears, scattered across the floor in objects the spirit was never meant to enjoy. Film and television had to decide what the Toyol looks like. Makeup, puppetry, animation, and digital effects turned flexible oral descriptions into memorable bodies. Horror emphasized sharp features and sudden movement. Comedy used the creature's size, appetite, and distractibility. Each screen version influenced later expectation, so a person hearing the legend after watching a film might remember the cinematic design as traditional. This is common in modern folklore. Media does not merely copy a story, it edits and recirculates it. The Toyol can now appear in housing estates, online games, and viral clips while still carrying an older moral structure, hidden service, stolen money, and a keeper whose desire creates the danger. Focusing only on the creature can let the keeper disappear. Yet the legend repeatedly points back to human choice. Someone wants wealth without accountability. Someone assigns the theft. Someone benefits, while another household experiences loss. The supernatural servant may express fear of unseen forces, but it also dramatizes exploitation. This reading keeps us from treating the childlike figure as a simple target of disgust. It asks who created the conditions of the story. When rumors lead to real accusations, the same principle applies. Investigate behavior and evidence rather than projecting guilt onto a vulnerable person, an outsider, or a family already marked by grief. At dawn, the room is quiet. Coins lie beside scattered marbles, and the tiny figure is gone. Perhaps it was never there. Perhaps the missing money has an ordinary explanation. Folklore leaves the image behind because the image carries a warning stronger than a balance sheet. Wealth taken through exploitation does not remain clean in the hand that receives it. The keeper becomes trapped by secrecy, dependence, and fear of exposure. The Toyol is memorable not only because it creeps through locked rooms, but because it asks who has been made to serve another person's ambition. If fortune arrives without a visible cost, the legend whispers that someone, seen or unseen, may already be paying it.